Happy Thursday, boys and girls. Let's all stand and say our pledges together. Salute and pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now our Oklahoma flag. Go ahead and salute and pledge. I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma. Its symbols of peace unite all people. Throughout the school year, we begin each morning by saying these pledges. At the very beginning of the school year, we discussed each of the words in the pledge and talked about what some of those big words mean. We're going to review those words in a moment, but first, did you know that the United States is one of only a handful of countries that says a pledge, that looks at the flag and says words that unite the people from our country, from the United States? The Philippines, Singapore, North Korea, and Mexico are other countries that say some type of pledge while observing the flag. But in North Korea, for example, the words they say are words of pledge to their leaders, not really to the principles of their country, more to a person. Let's add each of these following words to your writing words journal. So we're going to add a lot of words today. Go ahead and get out that writing words journal. If you don't have it handy, just a piece of paper. And we're going to go ahead and zero in on these words and give you a few minutes to add allegiance, indivisible, liberty, justice, symbols, pledge, and permit. Beginning with the word allegiance, it should be easy to find that letter A, that first letter at the beginning of your writing words journal. Please do not worry about it. If you did not get all of those words in your journal, I know that we all work at different speeds. Don't worry about it if you didn't get all the words written down. I want to talk about them briefly. Allegiance means to be a part of something. When we pledge allegiance, that means that we're a part of the United States of America. Indivisible means that we're not going to divide ourselves from the laws, the rules, and the other citizens of the United States. Indivisible means we're not going to be divided. Liberty is freedom. Remember when we discussed the Bill of Rights and those first 10 amendments to the Constitution that list the freedoms we have as citizens of the United States? Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, and so on. So liberty is freedom. Justice is fairness. Justice means to be fair. Do you remember what the highest court in the United States is? The Supreme Court. And the justices of the Supreme Court rule on the most difficult cases to settle. Symbols. On the Oklahoma state flag, we have the symbols of a shield, an olive branch, and a pipe. This is a peace pipe. An olive branch stands for also another symbol of peace, as a shield, protection. So those are all symbols of peace. I added the last word permit. It did not have anything to do with our pledges. It had to do with our word a day. But while you have your writing words booklet out, we're adding that word permit. Or permit. It can be said either way depending on how it's being used. So P-E-R-M-I-T is our word of the day today. Will you permit me to go to the beach with Sam and his family? In this case, permit is a verb. It's an action. Something to permit means to allow something to happen. Which things would you permit a first grader to do if you were the parent? Could a first grader go trick-or-treating? Yes. Would you permit a first grader to have a pet? Maybe. Would you permit a first grader to jump from an airplane? I certainly hope not. What about drive a car? Maybe a toy car in the driveway, but not a real car. And would you permit a first grader to play on a sports team? That's a personal family decision, but a lot of parents would allow a first grader, permit a first grader to play on a sports team. Now there's another kind of permit. When you're old enough to drive a real car, you get a driver's permit, which is a piece of paper or a card that says you are allowed to drive a car. In that case, permit is a noun. The part of speech that it is a noun because it's a thing. It's a piece of paper or a card. But when we ask, will you permit me to go outside? That's showing an action. So permit is a verb in that case. Now yesterday, we had the word tame as our word of the day. We used the word tame as an adjective. The tame fox allowed us to pet him. Well, tame in that case described the fox. So we used it as an adjective. But if we said, I am trying to tame the fox, tame would be a verb showing action. So depending on how you use a word in the sentence will determine on what part of speech it is. And tame and permit were two good examples of that. Now yesterday, at the end of our session, you listened to the country song, the Song of Nations by Animaniacs, which is a super fun little song. and reminds us of how many countries there are in this world, right around 200. And we use this globe to show all of those countries. We know our world is round. But when we're trying to study all of these places in the world and our 7 continents, it is easier to use a flat map. This map is just like the globe. This is really where all of those places are. But to study it, it's much easier to have this flat version. I want to point out a few things about our continents. I'm going to start with North America. We live here in the United States. Notice the different colors on the map. There's not a lot of different sections to North America, or countries. That's what the different colors are. We have Mexico, United States, Canada. Those are the 3 that really stand out. There's some other little islands and other countries, but notice those are the ones that stand out the most. Okay, when we look at South America, it's similar to the way North America is divided. Not a lot of countries, but a handful. Brazil covering the most area. Argentina down here. But now, let's look at Africa. More colors, more divisions, more countries. Asia, same thing. Look at all of these different colors and divisions. And then Europe has more countries than any of the continents. Lots of little countries all over Europe. They don't cover a lot of space, but there's a lot of different ones. Now let's compare. Look at Europe and all of these different colors and divisions, different countries. Look at Antarctica. It's just one big mass of land, all in white and blue, because we know it's very cold there. And only a few people actually call Antarctica their home. Very, very few people can live there. It's so cold. And then we have Australia. Well, it's all green. Why is it all one color? Australia is the only continent that is a continent and a country. It's only one country. Australia is only the country of Australia. And then there's different cities within that country. And down here is the island of New Zealand. And that's just a little bit of information on our continents. I know you've been doing lots of projects with the 7 continents, and I hope you're learning a lot and enjoying that. And we're going to close here for today, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.